Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Along the Spiritual Journey. So, the concept of feeling stuck, I recognize, happens to me personally more than I like to say. But then when I remember that I am just a human who's having their own individual experience as a human, that's a part of a collection of humans as a species, I remember that I'm nothing more than a vessel. I know that I have a life, I am loved, I know that I have purpose, but I also know that functionally, I am a human that serves a purpose to this said soul incarnation. So the soul, again, to me represents life. Doesn't matter if you have a shell, roots, stationary skin, whatever. If you're a part of this reality of existence, to me, you have a soul. And each level of that soul experience is a part of you that you had to complete like a class. You know how sometimes you take a bunch of courses and you pass everything, a few you drop, a few this, you get your grades, everything looks good, and then you move on to the next level and you realize that one little class that you thought was so insignificant was actually the one you needed the most for the next transition of life. And so a lot of times what happens is with this human experience, if we are not willing to step into the path that we know innately, intuitively is just part of our presence. Remember, you feel it. We are antenna. We are electric water beings with memory. We feel everything. And so when you feel something that you know feels right for you and feels good for you, follow it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense now. Sometimes you're in it for the short game. Sometimes you're in it for the long game. Sometimes you don't know which one you're playing and you just got to keep playing because you agreed that you had enough understanding of self that when you got stuck, you wouldn't blame the human flesh. Remember, your human flesh is never to blame. It doesn't know, it only knows what you teach it. It is the hardware. The software that comes through the soul remembrance and the soul healing and the soul consciousness, that's the updated software that as we keep growing and we keep learning, then society and the universe and energy and everything around us, that is collective consciousness that interacts in this reality that we call Earth, it knows that it's time to let go and heal. And when you do that, that's when you stop feeling stuck as the human. As the soul, you have to be willing to let go of what we call the ego. The ego becomes the shell, and that's what people think is the human. But when you really learn how to unstick yourself, you realize that it's all about healing.